Do you remember the perfect pass? What about the perfect 40-foot putt? Or the perfect game of bowling? If you watched wrestling in the 80s, then those perfect moments, courtesy of Mr. Perfect himself, Curt Hennig, might be perfectly inscribed in your memory.
And you'll still know why they call me Mr. Perfect.
While a lot of wrestling personas were slightly fictitious, Mr. Perfect's gimmick was pretty much rooted in truth. Hennig was actually a stellar athlete across countless sports, and he had the perfect ego to match. But while Mr. Perfect's schtick made him a household name, the perfectionism that he put on hilarious display with vignettes like perfect ping pong, the perfect bullseye, and the perfect ringer in horseshoes can also have a pretty dark side. There are serious consequences of trying to be perfect. You might be surprised to find out, and you might even recognize some of them in yourself. Let's find out why you should never strive to be perfect. You've stumbled upon Nostalgia, where each week we try to make you smarter by looking back at the shows, movies, and pop culture from our youth. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and let us know in the comments how we're doing. We really appreciate it. Approximately 30% of the population has perfectionist tendencies. And according to the American Psychological Association, that number is on the rise among young people because of the pressure of social media. And that's kind of scary because perfectionism can guide you down a pretty dark path.
This has never been a perfect belt, and Hulk Hogan, you're not a perfect champion.
In particular, perfectionism erodes relationships through unattainable expectations. Not only do perfectionists often aim too high when choosing romantic partners, but they also hold their friends to unreasonable standards, resulting in a revolving door of short-term, unfulfilling relationships. Ever noticed how Mr. Perfect had a revolving door of managers? Perfectionists are also robbed of any sense of accomplishment in life. You'd never know it by the way Mr. Perfect smugly smiles at the camera, but in real life, perfectionists are never free to celebrate their own accomplishments. Everything they do is deemed not good enough, and there's always something more to attain. Sadly, Mr. Perfect never did win the WWF or WWE Heavyweight Championship. In the same sense, perfectionism prevents feelings of gratitude. That can be a big problem for their mental health, as many studies have shown that gratitude is necessary for a person's sense of well-being. And on a darker note, perfectionism also leads to a lot of negative self-talk that hurts your self-esteem. In some cases, perfectionism can even drive people to suicidal thoughts. You've probably heard the phrase, "If you want something done right, do it yourself." Perfectionists take that mantra to an extreme level that often prevents them from getting help when they truly need it. They also tend to see every flaw as their own fault, meaning it's on them to fix things when they go wrong. Perfectionists also struggle to learn new things. Now, you would never know by Mr. Perfect, but when you try to learn something new, like a sport you've never played, you go through a necessary period of, well, just plain sucking at it. But perfectionists have a built-in aversion to sucking at anything. If they can't master it immediately, they want no part of it. And finally, perfectionists take fewer risks. Some risks, like jumping through a table, aren't good for anyone, but a fulfilling life really requires some level of risk-taking, whether it's trusting someone in a new relationship or leaving a career you can't stand. But since risk involves embracing the unknown, perfectionists are likely to play it safe, keeping them from branching out and experiencing new things. If any of that hits a little close to home, recognize that perfectionism is a habit you've learned, not a core part of who you are, so it can be unlearned in time. What do you guys think? Should people strive to be perfect in anything? Now, if I could just learn the perfect pass.
That was unbelievable.
No. That was perfect.